Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to your Chill Sop Behind the Games look on Friday nights. I'm your host, Markia McCarty, and welcome to Hunter's Gathering. So, what we will be doing with today's show, for those of you that are familiar with our Tuesday night campaign, right now we're doing Outbreak Undead, Rag and Bone. And with that, there is an additional element to it. We have a Forteller Scry. And maybe some of you are like, oh, what is Forteller Scry? What is Scry? What is Forteller? We're going into a Forteller and Scry deep dive tonight, and we'll be doing that with the co-founders of Forteller, including their principal architect. So before that, though, we are going to go ahead and dive into some news for this week, and then also a recap of that Tuesday night campaign that I just talked about. So welcome everyone in the chat room. Happy to see y'all. Almost Halloween is almost here. And Mercury retrograde is here now. So this is just a whole lot of energy fraught with a whole lot of things. So something to look forward to on October 23rd through 25th, there's going to be a Roll20 Con. So yeah, all of your wonderful digital TTRPG needs, that is just happening. So yes, Hunters Entertainment will be there. We'll actually be showing out a lot that entire weekend, including this particular show. We'll actually be doing a big panel. And with that, we'll also be doing like a Kickstarter angle with it. Like, hey, Kickstarters of past for Hunters Entertainment, the ones that made it, the ones that didn't, and then what we do now with our Kickstarters. So we're going to have a lot of in-depth things that are going to be happening that show. So, but for that weekend, there's going to be a number of live plays along with that panel. And for this weekend, there will be game demos from Hunters that are going up. So go ahead and go to roll20con.net for all that loveliness. So as far as merch is concerned, your zombie survival plan will fail merch is up. This is a second run for this. So, you know, if you missed it the first time, you can like grab it now. And this is basically in honor of our Rag and Bone campaign. So it is well worth it for you to go ahead and snag something now. And then hopefully you can get it in time for Halloween. And then that's just perfect. So there's only 2 days left in this return run. So you want to go to huntersentertainment.com/merch to go ahead and get, it's such an optimistic shirt, isn't it? Your zombie survival plan will fail. I love that. Along with this, we have a Gleam giveaway. So on Tuesdays, with our campaign, Hunters Presents Outbreak Undead, Rag and Bone, they will be giving away an Outbreak Survivor's Guide, a Game Master's Guide, and Strain Series Zombie. All of this will be digital. So to be able to enter that, please go to huntersentertainment.com/giveaway. And then all of the rules and all of the things that you need to go ahead and enter will be there for you. So, okay, let us go into the recap. Let's say hi to the chat room real quick. Oh, yay. I love seeing all of y'all in here. Phoenix Goth, Resback 390. Hey, welcome back. Alex, Alex, our community guy, Scabby Rooster. Love it. Okay, so for our recap, this is going to be recapping episodes 1 and 2 because we had a different panel, a different con. We had Renegade Con. So with this, with Rag and Bone, our GM is Knox Weiler Birth, and he is not pulling any punches with this world. The world that they're in, yes, it's a present day world, but instead of the zombie apocalypse happening now, it actually happened in 1995. So that is where our survivors end up being. Not only that, but there's an additional 2 twists in this world. Along with that, our characters are not exactly the nicest people on the planet. So if redemption arcs could happen for them, that would be a good thing if they stay alive long enough. And a further twist with that, Knox, our GM, let us know that one of us is actively working to betray the others. And no, we have no idea who that person is, but these are very interesting wrinkles to put on top of a 1995 inspired esque zombie world. Keeping in mind, it's not taking place in 1995. The zombie apocalypse took place then, and then everything in between happened to now. So, yeah, very much interested. So, just so that you know, our cast is our usual intrepid crew. We have for Luis Carrazzo is playing Lampwick this time. He is a backstabber. He will steal money from the wallet of the woman that he spent the night with as he's heading out the door. He's a blackmailer. And along with that, I mean, it's a very nice stretch for Luis to do, and I think he's kind of I think he might be one of my favorite characters that we have running this time around because you want him to survive, but you kind of don't. Along with that, we have what who I'm playing is Achira Sampson, and Achira, she is a person that is a loner. Something that we find out in her backstory is that she will literally leave children behind. That actually happens in episode 2. But along with her, I mean, we haven't gone in a lot into her backstory yet, so I don't know how much I want to tell you, but just suffice to say that she is sneaky, she is out for herself, and watch your pockets around her. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this roguelike character. And I like, yeah, Resback 390 is like, yep, he's a blackmailer for Lampwick. Moving on, Michelle Wynn Bradley is playing Juniper Sung. Juniper is unlike Lampwick, Achira, or our melee damages character, Abigail Rose. Juniper Song was actually born during the zombie apocalypse. So she literally only knows what this world is. Everybody else at least had, some mileage under their belt before the world turned upside down. So with her, we're finding out a number of things with her and her backstory. Her and her sister Olive, that's actually an episode 2. But with Juniper Song, it's a whole different perspective. How does one act when this is all that you know? Does that make them stronger? Does that make them more vulnerable? And that's something that we're really, well, depending on if she lives or not, then we're gonna go ahead and discover that out. Along with that, I wonder if anything will happen to her left arm. A lot of things happen to Michelle's arm, so let's see. And then of course melee damage is playing Abigail Rose. So something that we discovered in the second episode, which I'm just going to go ahead and say this now, we discovered that she was a former nun. Like out of everybody in the group, she seems to be very outgoing, and seems to be of a type of stature. So you kind of wonder what in the world happened for now she's a former nun. And then also, could she be the one that's going to betray us all? There's a whole lot of interesting things that can happen with this. So let's go ahead and go into our first clip for episode 1. So, with this, just to give you a little bit of backstory, this is going to be an intro into Scry, which we're utilizing with this campaign. And not only that, but we're going to show the first intention phase that happens with the world of Outbreak Undead. So, I will see you in just a second and enjoy this clip.
We are very excited to unveil the Scry system. If you look in the panels below, I would ask that those of you that are interested, enter in a username. It will be your gateway to the apocalypse. You can interact with this world. It will be unlike any experience that you have had in the past, as resources will be generated for communities that you choose. Each of these groups, as they are introduced within our story, are desperately in need. Your decisions will either save them or condemn them. You can earn through just watching the products that are here on Hunter's Entertainment points that can be used to spend and purchase all of the things that these communities may need. And while it's simple now, your choices will grow. And through the narrative that we are going to tell together, you will have options. Those options will affect the world. And eventually, you will determine the face of the lands that these characters are traveling through. Power of life and death at your fingertips. Intent. Yes. Your intentions. Juniper, what are you doing in this moment as there are now sounds in the woods to your right and your left?
I just sort of automatically I pushed the couple that I was talking to sort of behind me, even though they're much bigger than me and they're older than me. I push them behind me, and I start to stalk and stealthily towards, I guess, whatever the closest sound that I hear to me.
I hear you. So your intention is to fall into a stealth action and to try to scout the situation.
Yes.
Excellent. I would like for you to roll your spot listen.
Okay.
Lampwick, what is your intention? Your speed dice will be only 1.
Boom, taking my cue off of Juniper and hearing the sounds. I'm if I hear the sounds on my left and my right, and I see Juniper starting to approach one side, I turn around and kind of say loud enough for it to be heard, I'm gonna take a piss, and I'm gonna kind of flank a little bit. So I'm intending to go to the left of Juniper as she's approaching the sound. I'm gonna kind of go to the left, but I'm trying to bluff to make it seem like I'm doing something that I'm not actually gonna do.
Interesting. So I hear that your intention is to try to draw away any attention that might be falling upon Juniper.
I'm going to, if that is an outcome, that's cool. But what I'm trying to do is if people are watching us, I'm trying to let them think that I'm oblivious to them. But I'm not going directly to them. I'm kind of going off to the side.
Excellent.
And if I get where I want to get, instead of unzipping my pants, I'm going to reach for my pistol and act like I'm unzipping my pants.
All right. So what I'm going to ask for you to roll then is I would like for you to roll your persuade with 2 speed dice. As you are taking your time and doing this action, and you'll be moving off the side of the road, you're actively trying to be sane.
Got it. So I click 2 on the blue dice.
And then you'll roll your percentile. We'll come back to you and we'll determine how these actions actually play out, as everyone is going to state their intention now. Abigail, what is your intention in this moment?
How far away is Malibu Stacy from me?
Merely 5 feet away behind you on the rail.
I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit in my tracks and let her catch up with me. And I'm going to kind of grab like right behind the shoulder blade of her shirt and kind of pull her a little closer. And I'm going to go, we're going to go down into that ditch over there on the side. And we're going to crawl and get ready to take aim. And I'm going to slowly kind of pull her off to the side if I can get just below range of any kind of like storm drain or ditch or anything that's along the side of the road that we can kind of army crawl down the way to keep an eye on things and then pop up with guns if we have to.
Okay. So you say this to Malibu Stacy, and your order is conveyed. Your goal here is to conceal yourself, correct? So you're going to move off of that ditch. Let's have you Make a stealth check, please. And your difficulty dice are going to be 2 because you are dealing with another of the survivors that you're working with.
All right. Do forgive me while
All right.
for that.
And I'll come back to you. Achira, what is your intention in this moment?
It's to immediately drop into full stealth. I'm not trying to distract or dissuade or any way, any shape or form. It's literally there's something that I don't know in my path. So immediate stealth, pulling my long gun,
Mm.
my rifle, uh, to my intention would be to disappear and appear behind it when I need to be.
Very well. Your intention is to hide. I would have you roll your stealth, but as you're drawing your weapon as well, you will have 2 speed dice.
One of the things that I like about us having clips to play for the recap is that usually we have Alex, our community guy, who thank you so much for helping out with getting these time codes. Not only that, but Knox, Scabby Rooster, is in the chat right now. And I really enjoy the back and forth of how these two are able to talk about choices that the character is making from like a behind the scenes and in front of the camera point of view. And I just think that's really, really great. I'm glad for our chat room in general. So yeah. So with that encounter, I mean, whoever expects when zombies are going to happen, it happens. I very much say that y'all should go ahead and watch the VOD with that, because something with first encounters is always, it's so telling with how the character will be at times. Like I know for me with like my characters, at times I wouldn't be completely certain how someone would act until it actually happens. So I really love that Knox just kind of like tossed us into the fire to be like, and yeah, now you run, and now you go. So it's very cool. So moving on with our, I just like calling us our intrepid crew. Moving on with that, after that encounter, they then got to a bunker. And in there, they found, well, it was a series of tapes along with continuance of their mission. Their Rag and Bone itself is more scrappy and more hand to mouth type of a way to play this Outbreak Undead. You're not just going to run into supplies everywhere. And in fact, the supplies that they run into, they seem very plentiful, but even running into plentiful supplies means that you're going to be more encumbered, like as you continue your journey. So I very much enjoy how our GM Knox just utilizes that, especially in the second episode. So along with this, so tying more into the main part of our show, which is going to be about Scry and Forteller, with this, the community will be able to help or hinder help or hinder our travelers within this world, our crew. So we're going to get very much into how that works and what you can do, and if you're a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, what can you do and what's the future of that. And that is literally what we're going to be talking about in our second show in just a few minutes, in the second part of our show in just a few minutes. So moving on to episode 2, our party ends up being split up. Achira deciding, because a very major event happened where there were a number of corpses that were outside of the bunker that they were attempting to find shelter in. Chira decided that this was a no-go for her, and then headed off to the territories while the rest of the party decided to stay in the bunker. Those that stayed in the bunker then were able to get more information about the world, and also about how oranges within the bunker were necessary to then for a possible vaccine, moving forward in our storyline. So these separate entities got different information. Achira actually found out that there's more than zombies in this world, that there's something out there, and that there's some malicious people out there. One of the corpses that had been slaughtered, outside of the bunker was, well, all of them were somebody that they knew, but one was Papa Bear, who was exactly his namesake. And where Achira camped for the night, when she woke up, she found his head on a pike back the road that she came. So our crew is being watched, they're being stalked, they're being hunted in some way, shape, or form. After the people that were in the bunker were able to somehow get past a 50 strong zombie horde. Along with that, there's fire involved. There is, zombies are bad enough. Zombies on fire are just, isn't that just like, mwah, that's that special kind of brand of hell that you wouldn't want to run into a survivor. But that happens. And our crew ends up reuniting just in time to get some of the creepiest singing that has ever happened in an RPG, and then the person that was singing this song walking towards them. So for the clip that we're about to show, it's literally going to be Molotov cocktail severed head for episode 2. I always recommend for you to watch the VOD, but go ahead and enjoy this taste of the campaign so far.
The dead begin moving towards you. Juniper, you quickly move out, slipping past Lampwick as the group moves forward. Abigail, you nearly drop the Molotov at your feet. But in that last moment, as a small amount of gas splashes against your boots and pants, you spark the lighter, light the Molotov, and fling it into the horde. It explodes outward, and flames begin licking across your opponents. They do not seem to notice. The burning certainly slows them, but it does not seem to hurt them. They set ablaze as the gasoline spreads out in a wide, splashing arc, catching over half of your opponents. You begin running, and you break away, back to the rail line. The dead following after, half of them on fire. The dried leaves start to catch, and the safe house burns. Everything in this part of the forest is now on fire. And the trees begin to pop and crackle and shriek as they break apart under the intense heat that has been brought upon them. The silhouettes behind you as you charge down this rail line shuffle slowly behind you as the flames lick across the tracks and everything behind you burns. You've managed to escape, but no one will be visiting that depot again. Part of the Ender's line has been destroyed. Achira, when you wake, you almost forget everything. You almost forget where you are. You're almost that child again that woke up and didn't know that the world was about to be over. But it, as it always does, comes crashing back in like an unwanted guest. Your memories of where you are and the situation that you find yourself in, they're right there with you now. Your thoughts go back to your companions at the safe house, and also to your lack of orange peels.
Oranges. All I had to do was grab some oranges.
There is something new on the horizon. Something that wasn't there when you fell asleep. There is a wooden stake that has been driven into the ground in the middle of the road that you came from. There are crows standing atop it, pecking at something. One of them pulls a bit of flesh off the severed head that is hanging there, flies back into the air. And from
Wait,
your
this was on the road I came in on, so this is something that wasn't there last night.
That is correct. The severed head is that of Papa Bear. And it's staring right at you.
Achira would pull her scythe and take a good look around to make sure that she's the only one that she can see right now.
Make a spot listen check, but before you do, make a composure check. I'm going to add 2 difficulty dice.
Yeah, that's a lot. I'm really having a good time watching y'all in chat. Where it's like Alex underscore red eye. They burned my safe house. They certainly did. And yes, Resback 390, the disrespect. I love that so much. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting campaign that we are going to be having. Along with that, this is not something that's like, oh, okay, 3 episodes and done. Something has to wrap up. Maybe someone dies. No, this is a long ongoing campaign, which is one of the reasons why having Forteller Scry is going to be such a great way for our community to interact with this campaign and in ways that you already have. So if you haven't already subscribed to Hunter's Entertainment, I hardly recommend for you to, or at least to do a follow, because we're going to be doing some very, very amazing things right now and then also in the future with Scry for interaction with our Outbreak Undead Rag and Bone campaign. So for right now, for in the chat, if you have questions and everything with like Foreteller Scry, things moving forward, we're going to take a 10-minute break. So in that time, go ahead and generate those questions, load us up with things. It can be and silly comments. I like silly comments too. And when we come back, we're going to be doing a sit down deep dive discussion of Foreteller and Scry with the co-founder, with both of the co-founders of Foreteller, with Thomas St. Pierre and Travis Simpson, our co-founders, and then also Eddie San Marcos, the principal architect for Foreteller. So let's go ahead and take that 10-minute break. Go ahead and do those questions. And when we come back, we're going to do all that scrying. So we will see you then.